Today our topic is how to be more rational using Stoic logic. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to live a good life by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. It is a practical way of thinking that helps us deal with challenges, emotions, and difficult situations. By using Stoic logic, we can become more rational, make better decisions, and find peace in our lives. Let's explore how Stoicism can help us think more clearly and act more wisely. The first step is to understand what Stoicism is. Stoicism was founded in ancient Greece by a man named Zeno of Citium. Later, philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius developed its ideas further. The core idea of Stoicism is that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. This is a powerful idea because it shifts our focus from external events to our own thoughts and actions. For example, if someone insults us, we cannot control their words, but we can control whether we get upset or not. By focusing on our own reactions, we can stay calm and rational. One of the key tools in Stoic logic is the concept of dichotomy of control. This means dividing everything in life into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot. Things we can control include our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Things we cannot control include the weather, other people's opinions, and past events. By focusing on what we can control, we avoid wasting energy on things that are outside our power. For instance, if it rains on the day of a picnic, we cannot change the weather, but we can choose to enjoy the rain or find another activity indoors. This simple idea helps us stay rational because it prevents us from worrying about things we cannot change. Another important Stoic principle is to examine our judgments. Stoics believe that it is not events themselves that upset us, but our judgments about those events. For example, if someone criticizes us, we might feel hurt. But the Stoic approach is to ask ourselves, is this criticism true? If it is, we can learn from it. If it is not, we can ignore it. By questioning our judgments, we avoid reacting emotionally and instead respond with reason. This is how Stoic logic helps us become more rational. It teaches us to pause, think, and evaluate before we react. This way, we make better decisions and avoid unnecessary stress. Stoicism also teaches us to accept reality as it is. This does not mean we should give up or stop trying to improve our lives. It means we should recognize that some things are beyond our control, and that resisting them only causes suffering. For example, if we lose a job, we can accept the situation and focus on finding a new one, instead of complaining or feeling sorry for ourselves. Acceptance is not about being passive. It is about being realistic. By accepting reality, we free ourselves from frustration and can use our energy more effectively. This is a key part of Stoic logic, facing the truth and dealing with it calmly. Another way to be more rational using Stoic logic is to practice gratitude. Stoics believe that we should appreciate what we have instead of always wanting more. When we focus on what we lack, we feel unhappy. But when we focus on what we have, we feel content. For example, instead of complaining about a small apartment, we can be grateful for having a roof over our heads. Gratitude helps us see the good in our lives and reduces negative emotions like envy and frustration. This makes our thinking more balanced and rational. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment. Many of our worries come from thinking about the past or the future. We regret things we did in the past, or fear what might happen in the future. But the Stoics remind us that the only moment we truly have is the present. By focusing on the here and now, we can act more rationally and avoid being overwhelmed by anxiety. For example, if we are working on a project, we should concentrate on the task at hand instead of worrying about whether it will succeed or fail. This way, we can do our best and let go of unnecessary stress. Another Stoic technique for rational thinking is to imagine the worst-case scenario. This might sound negative, but it is actually a way to prepare ourselves for challenges. By imagining the worst that could happen, we realize that we can handle it. This reduces fear and helps us think more clearly. For example, if we are afraid of losing our job, we can imagine what we would do if it happened. We might realize that we could find another job, cut expenses, or learn new skills. This exercise helps us see that even the worst-case scenario is manageable, which makes us feel more confident and rational. Stoicism also teaches us to be mindful of our desires. Many of our problems come from wanting things we do not need. For example, we might want a bigger house, a fancier car, or more money. But the Stoics remind us that these things do not bring lasting happiness. Instead, we should focus on developing virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. These qualities make us strong and resilient, no matter what happens in life. By reducing our desires, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and can think more clearly. Another important Stoic practice is to reflect on our day. At the end of each day, we can ask ourselves, what did I do well? What could I have done better? This helps us learn from our experiences and improve ourselves. It also helps us stay focused on what really matters. For example, if we spent the day arguing with someone, we can reflect on whether it was worth it and how we could handle the situation better next time. This kind of reflection helps us grow and become more rational. Stoicism also encourages us to think about the bigger picture. When we face challenges, it helps to remember that life is short and that everything changes. This perspective helps us see our problems as small in the grand scheme of things. For example, if we are stuck in traffic, we can remind ourselves that it is just a minor inconvenience and that we will soon reach our destination. This way, we avoid getting upset and can stay calm and rational. Finally, Stoicism teaches us to be kind and fair to others. The Stoics believe that we are all part of a larger community and that we should treat others with respect. By being kind and fair, we create a positive environment for ourselves and others. This helps us think more clearly because we are not distracted by anger or resentment. For example, if someone treats us badly, we can choose to respond with kindness instead of revenge. This way, we maintain our inner peace and act rationally. In conclusion, Stoic logic is a powerful tool for becoming more rational. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, examine our judgments, accept reality, practice gratitude, live in the present, prepare for challenges, reduce our desires, reflect on our actions, think about the bigger picture, and treat others with kindness. By applying these principles, we can make better decisions, stay calm in difficult situations, and live a more fulfilling life. Stoicism is not just a philosophy. It is a practical guide for everyday life. By practicing Stoic logic, we can become more rational, wiser, and happier. So let us start today by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. This is the path to a more rational and peaceful life.